This one's still under the heading, angering builds confidence. And it does. Your parents screwed you. Getting angry is a very natural, there's a reason why our bodies get us angry for a reason. It actually helped us survive as a species when we were more immersed in nature. And now it's just twisted and bent by our parents and by their parents. And to deny that reality, they say we humans are smarter. We should be better than that. Should. That's a belief system. That's built on fear. That's built on them trying to calm the next generation down so that everybody's more manageable. Everything's more manageable and polite and fake as hell. I'm not saying not to be polite, but your compassion should come from authenticity and not just this need to be polite. It's the same thing with religion. If you're doing stuff just to avoid hell, you're not really doing that stuff. You're just acting stuff out. You're not actually nice when you help people out. You're trying to buy your way into heaven. Same kind of principle. But to sit there and deny these things that were given by nature, by God, to help us survive. God works in mysterious ways. That's pretty mysterious when you're not used to that. Angering as a defense mechanism, but as a means to be authentic and as a means to connect with nature and to just be. That's giving, what do they say? You basically do as God tells you to. Well, didn't the universe give you this defense mechanism? Not for you to just pretend it's not there and pretend you never got angry. That's how you end up actually being angry. You keep it, you hold on to it. My most powerful experience of this was overcoming my terror of public speaking. Jumping out of an airplane, intervening in a mugging and patrolling ambush country in the Korean DMZ were nowhere near as fearsome as lecturing was for me. Unlike the former, the latter literally scared the shit out of me. He said that with quotes, so I'm hoping he didn't crap on stage. For years, I could not get up in front of an audience without 3 trips to the bathroom in the half hour before I spoke. Positive self-talk, hypnotism, and meditation did little to alleviate this condition. My terror at the lectern didn't begin to abate until I applied anger work to this problem. For me, for sure, grieving to let it out and immersing yourself in the emotion instead of running from it, that is a huge help. But angering is such a catalyst to get into that, because if you still have unresolved anger about it and you're trying to grieve it out, but you're not fully appreciating how you got screwed over, so you can't fully grieve until you allow all of those emotions. So I'd say an ideal session to work through stuff is one where you go back and forth and you have mixtures of both throughout it, because you're lying to yourself if you tell yourself you weren't screwed over in certain ways. I began by fully feeling and exploring my fear. I was shocked to discover barely conscious fantasies of audience members attacking me in the exact same ways my parents had, verbally, emotionally. Behind these fantasies were fearful images of my parents suddenly appearing in the audience to knock me off my high horse. It shook me that my fear of my parents was by far my greatest dread. How could I still be terrified of them? They were so enfeebled now. I could effortlessly repel any attack by them. And then I remembered that I had seen men the size of professional football players quaking in their boots around their verbally abusive, frail, and aged mothers. Grounded in real possibility or not, these fears were powerfully real in my body, and the bottom line source of my misery around lecturing. Those emotions are from the past. They're kind of not present in the sense that they're just acting out a pattern that you're used to, and they're begging to be lived and not avoided. Don't deny reality. Don't deny nature. Things already are. You can't tell somebody a car is blue when it's red. You would look like a crazy idiot. And that's what we're doing, though, because we were patterned into it. That's all. All these artificial patterns. To counter these fears, I experimented with my discovery that my fear often spontaneously dissipated when I was angry. Just the catalyst, it allows it to spring forth. It allows the emotion to come out, because that's what's trying to come out, the emotion. We can top down logic all we want, but those emotions are very real. We're still animals, even if we have a higher functioning brain. We still have the amygdala, we still have the reptilian. We have all those layers, and those are what are activating as a means to defend the organism, as a means to defend us in those times. So allow them, allow yourself to defend you. Allow that panic, allow that anger. Those are emotions that needed to come out. When you were afraid, you were shut down for it or conditioned to believe that it was not something you were supposed to do. So you've been growing this fear this whole time. You've had it in a little jar and been feeding it every time you look away, every time you distract away. So if you're scared underneath, embrace the fear finally, because what you resist persists. It's just 101 stuff, you know? So my fear often dissipated when I was angry. Just before my lectures, I role-played defending myself against anyone who might attack me while I was teaching. So defending yourself is basically asserting using some of your righteous anger, I would call it, like natural anger, natural response anger. The man who tries to be perfect is the least perfect of everybody. I'll just tell you that. It's not hard to figure out in light of this stuff. My first experiments with this were quite basic. When my fear produced images of my parents smacking me in the face because they didn't like what I was saying, a recurring occurrence in childhood, I summoned up my anger and shadowboxed them off the stage. In the process, I reminded my inner child of my promise that no one would ever be allowed to hit him again without me physically resisting them. I mean, I got a little bit of a chill just reading that. It's such good stuff. Yeah. I'm going to leave you with that. Peace.